Hi, Melanie. I'm providing your feedback for your debate, written debate speech. So I'm here looking at your, a second here, looking at your debate draft. And here we go. So first thing is I'm going to comment on your MAP. So I think the data is fine. The After the data, you're talking about the warrant. At first, I'll look at the data, then I'll look at your claim. So here we are. This is the data. This is the claim. You're saying private schools offer a higher level of education experience. I want higher level, perhaps you can say more positive, more positive uh, educational experience. You can think about that compared to public schools. If you want to, you can change that. And then you can say, the warrant is fine. I read the warrant, that's fine. However, big point here is I want you to understand what rebuttal is. This is incorrect. What you did here, rebuttal is a loophole within your argument, okay? So let's say you are saying that private schools offer a higher level of educational experience compared to public schools, all right? However, rebuttal is when your claim may not be true. I don't see it addressed here. However, I have seen it being addressed in your qualifier. That's not what a qualifier does. A qualifier shows the strength of your argument. A rebuttal shows the weakness of your argument, which you acknowledge, yet you say that even though I acknowledge that this is a weakness of my claim, yet I will say my claim is stronger or it still stands true. Qualifier shows the strength of your argument. It's either you completely agree or you say that I 100% or 50% agree. I agree with some considerations. That shows the strength of your argument. What you did, this one will come very close to a rebuttal, where you're saying that you're actually talking about the fact that, and I'm kind of interpreting this in my mind right now, that some parents would like the fact that public schools have a bigger ratio, which is not present in private schools. Some people would like that diversity within public schools, maybe not present as much in a private school, right? Those are rebuttals where you say that these are not the things that private schools have, and some parents prefer that. It's a matter of preference. Yet I would say that private schools might not be preferred by all parents because of diversity issues, because of class size issues. Yet the quality of education there is higher, which you've just mentioned. So that was not done correctly. And because you talked to me about points, I usually don't do that because for me, it is about learning. However, I have given you, in spite of the fact that was incorrect, I have given you 5 points. All right. Okay. Now, let's go to your opening statement here. You may not want to talk about what your name is. They're able to find out, they know what your name is by this point. So you can just start the discussion by I'm going to discuss a topic that has sparked discussions and debates. Not needed. More powerful way would be to talk about, are private schools better than public schools? That's the way you may want to talk about. I really like the fact that, let's go to the rubric here. You do talk about your personal experience. I think that's a great connecting factor. However, here you end with the quote. I'm not sure whether the quote is going to be, it's a good quote, but I'm not sure whether it's going to create a sense of connection with the audience, or the audience is going to really understand the importance of your topic. A different way, a different strategy for you to think about, some people who, from the popular culture, who have achieved great success in life are, maybe mention a few, try to do some research on few people who have attended private schools and have succeeded in life. So maybe that would kind of connect with the audience more, because they have probably known those people. uh, rather than a quote by associate principal at the Linton School in Toronto, which could be a good quote if you put that in your if you find a way to introduce that in your body, but not in your introduction. Maybe somebody from the popular culture that most people will know would have a much more powerful effect rather than this one. Okay. Now I did read your body of the speech. I think you do a good job in talking about if you talk about different things. In terms of how public school they do in terms of 20 points higher, how eighth grade necessarily they averaged about 20 points higher. You do talk about that they're part of a sports team. You do talk about 94% of in private schools they're part of a sports team. This is not the exposure that private schools get. I'm sorry, public schools get. Then you talk about the stressful situation, budget issues, all of that um, in public schools could be affected with that, and that is necessarily not the case with private schools. You talk about these three things, and I think that's okay. I mean, I probably won't add again. Make their sentences shorter, easier. Have again when you're putting in too much information, introduce a rhetorical question there. That just gives it a little bit of a break for the audience and like a stop, pause, and think. So at every necessarily you got to make that judgment. Where do you want to put a rhetorical question? I don't see a whole lot of rhetorical questions within your speech, so do put in enough of rhetorical questions within the body of your speech. Now I will say here I will say that in terms of your conclusion, there are several rebuttals that can come. Okay, the biggest one, which I don't think you've pointed out, and it's totally, it doesn't go against you that you haven't pointed, but you need to be prepared, especially when they are going to counter argue with you. Your audience is going to counter argue with you. Is private schools is the financial constraint part of it? Not everybody can afford to send their children to private schools. If somebody says that, how would you respond to that? That's fine. If you don't want to put it here, totally fine. You put in what you did. Just I did not see that within your speech, but when I go to your map of the speech, I see that you're trying to provide somehow, and I'm interpreting this as somewhat of a rebuttal, an exception to your speech, that some parents will prefer a smaller class. Some parents will like the diversity, which private schools cannot give. So this could be somewhat of a rebuttal, and then you have to fight back and saying that, as I mentioned, even though these may not be prevalent in a private school, these are matter of preferences and has nothing to do with the quality of education, okay, the higher quality of education that private schools give. So that's something that you may want to think about, and so that needs to be that needs to be put in your conclusion here. I didn't see that. So in terms of your rubric here, I did see some a major rebuttal that was not pointed. Um, and there was a confusion between qualify and rebuttal. So even though you had that, I have given you 5 points out of 5 points for your, even with a mistake with your map of the speech. Now I have told you what you need to do in the introduction. This is what you have got. There's certain place where you showed me a connection. There's certain places where I didn't see the quote is relevant. I kind of gave you some suggestions that you could do, kind of where you can talk about people from the popular culture who have used private schools and have created a much more stronger impact. Private schools have created a strong impact in their life in terms of success. Now, I did tell you how what things that you have done in your body that that you could do to strengthen it even more. I've told you more shorter sentences, rhetorical questions in those sentences, and I'm just kind of forgetting right now what I. Yeah, so I told you to work on your going back to your conclusion. I told you that you got to make major uh, rebuttals need to be You need to really consider what you're kind of work that in, put in your rebuttal, and then argue against it. Okay, saying that even though this is a weakness that I know, however, this has nothing to do, it's a matter of personal preference and has nothing to do with the quality of education. Quality of education in private schools remains higher, much more, much more in terms of quality education that as opposed to private schools. So again, so these are things that I need to see that you did provide. So 5 points there as well. I hope this is helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.